whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Welcome to the Horrible Film School, a safe place to watch scary movies. Time for roll call. Professor Chris here with my fellow horribles, Professor Hootie.
What's going on, fellas? It is a very exciting day to travel down Elm Street.
Always. And Professor Joseph.
Good evening, gentlemen. Who's ready to step into the world of the infamous child murderer himself?
Hey, whoa.
Today's assignment, 1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street. The lesson. When flicking your bean in the bathtub, make sure to keep your eyes open for homicidal dream demons.
That is such a good point. I mean, that is a critical issue facing our country.
You imagine flicking your bean with a fucking Freddy glove?
I'm sure that's been done.
I guess I could. I have one. Anyway,
Imagine, watch this. Hey, Joey, watch this.
Joey, I'm your boyfriend now. All right, let me sum up this movie. In Wes Craven's classic slasher film, several Midwestern teenagers fall prey to Freddy Krueger, the Springwood slasher, who preys on teenagers in their dreams, which in turn, fellas, kills them in reality. After investigating the phenomenon, Nancy begins to suspect that a dark secret kept by her parents may be the key to unraveling the mystery. But can Nancy and her boyfriend Glenn solve the puzzle before it's too late? First up, written and directed by Wes Craven, the King of Horror, who also directed Scream and The People Under the Stairs.
I got a note here that says Hootie's got a wet spot in the front of his pants for this guy, so I'm just going to let him roll and say whatever he wants about Wes Craven.
It's definitely already there. I mean, you don't know who Wes Craven is, just please look him up. Google Last House on the Left, Hills Have Eyes 1 and 2. But here's a little tidbit. Scream? Yeah, I said Scream. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the reboot.
Scream's his best work.
You make me sick. A little tidbit here on Mr. Craven. He didn't intend on being a horror director. He grew up in a very religious Baptist home and began his career as an adult film director under the name Abe Snake.
Jesus.
He was directing pornos?
He was directing pornos, that is correct.
That's my new fucking username, Abe Snake.
He did not perform in them. He just directed them and acted a little bit, but not in the sexual way.
You can check out my first one, Nightmare on Elm Street.
All right, let's get into the first actress here, or actor. First up, Nancy Thompson, played by Heather Langenkamp, who was also in, very short list of credits here, fellas, A New Nightmare, and a ZZ Top music video.
Nice. Was she in Legs?
Walk this way! Talk this way!
ZZ Top.
Then that happened.
Dude, that's my favorite ZZ Top song. Yeah, you said she has a short credit
Shockingly,
role.
yes, she does. Shockingly.
Her first credit was being featured in Francis Ford Coppola's The Outsiders, but she had her scenes cut. If you watch this movie, you can kind of see why.
I could guess
her
why.
first credited role was actually this movie, where she's actually, in the movie. Won an Academy Award for Best Eyebrows in a Feature Film. She owns and operates AFX Studios, a special effects studio company that has worked on several noticeable films, such as 2004's Dawn of the Dead, Cinderella Man, starring Russell Crowe, and a personal favorite of mine, although it's kind of divisive on with us, the Horrible Film School guys, that would be Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, it's a great movie.
I love Cabin
No, it's
in the
not.
Woods.
Good
See,
Lord.
There we go.
It's not. Sorry.
This guy.
Generic.
Who invited Stuart fucking Scott to the podcast tonight? Good God.
I just didn't get it, man. I didn't get it.
Cabin in the Woods is a stage.
But it seems like
T's and
Heather
P's.
became a much better special effects artist than she was ever an actor. So, good on Heather.
Yeah, she.
You guys, you
she's
like
not
to
great.
dog her. She's actually not that bad in this movie.
She's not great.
I love
She's
this
not
movie.
great, but then again, it's a horror movie. You don't really find too many people that are.
Think about every other actor in this movie. She was the worst, and she's the main character.
Every other actor in this movie, like who? Because Johnny Depp wasn't really anything special in this movie.
I agree,
Jesus
but
Garcia
pick any other
was.
performance. Pick any other performance is better than hers.
Next up is Glenn Lance, played by Johnny Depp, who was in What's Eating Gilbert Grape and Sleepy Hollow, to name a few.
All right, so you named a few. I'm going to name the rest.
You sure said.
Here we go.
On purpose,
Johnny
I don't know
Depp
Johnny Depp.
as Glenn Lance in this film was also featured in a few other movies, such as Platoon, Crybaby, Edward Scissorhands, Ed Wood, Donnie Brasco, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, The Ninth Gate, Blow, 35 Pirates of the Caribbean movies, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, Secret Window, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Corpse Bride, Sweeney Todd, Public Enemies, Alice in Wonderland, as well as Through the Looking Glass, Dark Shadows, The Lone Ranger, Into the Woods, Tusk. He was actually in Tusk. Did y'all know that?
Never got around to that one.
I actually like that movie.
Shout out Kevin Smith.
Shout out Kevin Smith. If you haven't noticed by now, Tim Burton has a still beamed hard-on for Mr. Depp. So you can expect to see him starring in every one of his movies until the day one of them dies.
Yeah, basically. I think he sees something like his ideal self in Johnny Depp. That's the only way to explain his fascination with him.
Who's the woman that's always in those movies, too?
Helena Bonham Carter is married
For
to
the
Tim
longest time, no, she's not. For the longest time, I thought they were married, and he just liked to be cucked by Johnny Depp. Because Johnny Depp is always fucking Helen Bonham Carter, or whatever her name is, in like every
He's
one of his
lucky.
movies.
That's Marla Singer
Yeah, she's not bad.
from Fight Club.
She does have this like heroin chic look.
She's on the poster right behind my computer as we speak. Hootie just can't place her in his head because he's a fucking stooge.
No, I'm waiting for y'all to stop talking about fucking Johnny Depp and Tim Burton so I can continue the goddamn podcast.
All right, T's and P's, T's and P's.
Sounds like somebody's jealous of Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
T's and P's
so
to that
jealous.
jealousy, man. We're moving on.
So jealous that this guy got this role because Wes Craven's daughter found him absolutely dreamy.
Yeah, who wouldn't?
That's how we
He's
got
fucking
here.
Johnny Depp. What you should watch, check out that Crybaby movie. It's one of those John Waters
Oh my god, dude!
musicals.
Seen that so many
John,
times.
John Waters, it's fucking insane. You need to watch this shit. I would never have seen it had it not been for my mom and my sister.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that movie is like actually pretty good. If you like musicals, watch it.
Next up, Tina Gray, played by Amanda Weiss, who was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Silverado.
Yep, she was. I mean,
Yep.
fuck, I don't have anything else
Good
for
job by
that.
you, Tina.
Holy shit. We both read IMDb on that one.
Next up, Rod Lane, played by Jesus Garcia, who was in Collateral Damage and We Were Soldiers, a Mel Gibson vehicle.
Yes.
Did you read up on this guy at all?
I did not, other than the fact he was in We Were Soldiers, a Mel Gibson vehicle.
All right,
Are you
in this
getting
movie
paid to
is-
fucking
in
advertise this?
In this movie, he's cast, I think his name, or his name he goes by is Nick Corey in this movie. But as you said, his real name is Zoo Garcia. He was in Predator 2 as well as Vampire in Brooklyn, to add to what Hootie's already said. He's also
Vampire in
ordained-
Brooklyn, directed by Wes Craven.
directed by Wes Craven. He is also an ordained minister in the movement of spiritual inner awareness, founded by a guy named John Roger. This guy probably has one of the most interesting life stories of any of these actors I've come across through this podcast. I won't go into detail, but I think it's definitely worth it to YouTube or wiki the guy's name and check out his life's journey. It's pretty interesting.
Cool. He should
Good for
definitely
Mr.
look
Garcia.
into being Ralph Macchio's stunt double in any work he can find.
Let's just talk about Marge Thompson, played by Ronnie Blakely, who you may know, or probably wouldn't know, from Wilbur and the Baby Factory and Nashville.
Is The Baby Factory one of those movies that Wes Craven directed as an adult film star?
I don't believe so, but it was made in 1973, so possibly. Even though she is hamming it up being drunk in this film, which is at points really hard to watch, she actually was nominated for an Academy Award for her role in Nashville.
Oh, I thought he was going to say in this.
Don't be so shocked, Chris.
So she probably played the country singer in Nashville, if I had to guess. It's a Robert Altman film I watched for the first time a couple years back. He is a very unique director. It's like a 3-hour-long movie where every character has like 10 minutes of screen time. There's like 40 characters in the movie. It's bananas.
Jesus. Next up, Lieutenant Thompson, played by the John Saxon, who was in Black Christmas and Enter the Dragon.
Enter the fucking dragon.
Apparently, this guy had a mandate in his like acting contract to play the police role in every horror movie in the 80s. He was also in From Dusk Till Dawn, and like Hootie said, he starred in Black Christmas from 1974. Considered one of the earliest slasher films of all time. Definitely like in retrospect, a really, really good movie. Although at the time it received mixed reviews. This is definitely a movie I wish we could one Christmas maybe take a shot at, as it's
slide it all in there.
Slide it on in there.
Slide it in there.
A little note on Mr. John Saxon. He became a mentor and lifelong friend to Heather Langenkamp, and upon his death at the age of 83, his ashes were buried at Lakeview Cemetery in Seattle, near Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee. So, last but not least, the man of the hour, the man with that golden glove, the guy we all came to see, Freddy Krueger, played by Robert Englund, whose credits will leave you pretty silent. He was in Wishmaster and Zombie Strippers, to name a few of those great credits.
Robert Englund, because it's a U, apparently, not Dave for some reason. Pretentious fuck. Well, he'll play a character named Victor Creel in the upcoming season of Stranger Things. Here's some crazy shit I learned about Mr. Englund. He was one of the backup vocalists for 1994's Can You Feel the Love Tonight by Elton John.
I got the same note. Yeah.
So, technically, Freddy Krueger is in The Lion King.
So right when Simba's just going to town.
Not to steal your note or anything.
That's Robert Englund in the background serenading us.
Something neat to throw in there.
Some lion fucking.
So next time you're playing Candy for the Love of Night when you're laying down with your partner and trying to get it in, just think of Freddy Krueger.
Can you feel the love tonight, bitch?
And some of them might actually like that. So in order to get the role of Freddy Krueger, Mr. Englund went into the audition room and had mixed cigarette butts and water to rub under his eyes to make them sunken in, and then greased his hair back with the oil from his dipstick in his cart.
He keeps his dipstick in the car. I keep mine in my pants.
Hey.
And apparently he stared at Wes Craven without blinking for an uncomfortable amount of time.
It's one of those things you stare at him till it gives you the fucking part. Okay. Mr. Englund, can you just leave now? You're just fucking staring at him.
Stay awake, Wes. Wes, watch this.
I got a couple of credits as well, special little shout-outs. Not really anybody featured prominently in the movie, but Lynn Shay as the teacher. She's been in a ton of shit, but to me, and I do mean a ton of shit, credited over 200 times as an actor.
Jesus.
But to me, she will always be the landlady in my favorite sports movie of all time, Kingpin. I got a little snippet. Here for you guys.
In the fucking rearview mirror.
Oh, my little Roy toy. What is it about good sex that makes me have to crap? Really jarred something loose there, Tiger. She's been in a lot of shit. I did not realize she was in over 200 movies.
Yeah, she was in the Conjuring franchise too, right?
Yeah, she was in that.
Or was it Insidious?
I think she is some sort of a relation to the actual producer of this movie, because his last name is Shea as well, like Robert Shea or something. I'm not 100% sure.
That is a true blue-collar actor.
Yeah, maybe it's happenstance. Who knows? But I also want to give a shout out to Charles Bernstein. He was the composer for the film. Maybe not as well known as John Carpenter, but undeniably just as talented. Mr. Bernstein's work on this movie is superb and brings a sense of dread and suspense to any scene that he touches. I feel like among horror fans, the nightmare theme is just as recognizable as that of Halloween.
This film takes place in Springwood, Ohio, which could have been pulled off, except multiple scenes do have palm trees. And I hate to break it to you, there's no palm trees in Ohio.
Fucking Ohio.
So to get into the look of Freddy Krueger himself, a few things I found that was very interesting. Wes Craven's vision of Freddy Krueger came from a childhood memory. When he was 10 years old, he looked out the window at the apartment he lived in, and a drunk man, dressed similarly to Freddy Krueger, was looking directly at him and continued to stay there, staring at the window for several minutes. This scared him, so later on, he decided this will be the look for Freddy. And one more bit on Freddy Krueger. Craven named his on-screen horror creation for a boy who used to bully him in high school. That lucky bastard. Wherever Freddy Krueger is, if he's still alive, you know.
It's a cool last name.
As for the glove, the infamous glove, it was created by the mechanical special effects designer Jim Doyle, who took a basic idea that Wes Craven had that was basically around long fingernails and constructed the glove that we know today. They used one glove that was extremely sharp for their effect scenes, which actually cut Robert Englund several times, and then another very dull version to obviously work with actors.
So was the original concept just fingernails, and then the effects guy gave it an actual glove?
So what I'm picking up on is Wes Craven had in the script was that the killer was going to have just long fingernails. But apparently Wes Craven just didn't like that idea, so that he went to this guy and was like, how can we make this better?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a
huge
shit
improvement.
idea. Yeah, huge improvement.
The budget was $1.1 million, and it made back $57 million at the box office.
Now you can see why we have 9 sequels.
They actually signed Robert Englund to several movies because they banked on this being a franchise. So the distributor and producer of this film was a struggling new company called New Line Cinema, who betted everything they had on Wes Craven and his dream demon, Freddy Krueger. Due to the incredible success, New Line was able to make movies for decades to come that included Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Dumb and Dumber, and the Lord of the Rings series. Hence, New Line Cinema became known as the house that Freddy built.
Apparently Wes Craven came up with the idea for Nightmare on Elm Street based off of a story he read about an Asian boy who would refuse to sleep and wouldn't sleep, and after a
Cambodians.
while suddenly died in his sleep or in their sleep. Some people say it was about a young man, and some people say it was about some refugees who couldn't sleep either. Either way, it was people dying from lack of sleep, refusing to sleep.
Hey, Nancy! No running in the hallway.
The opening of the film takes us to the origin of Freddy Krueger as he assembles his glove in the boiler room.
He's walking around making like the weirdest little giggles and shit.
So is this like pre-Freddy dying? Or is this happening in a dream sequence?
Yeah, I think this is before he even starts murdering people. Because he hasn't created his glove yet. Like, this is just the creation of his glove. But
as he breathes really heavily as well.
You're watching him take these shitty little knives Imagine if he made these, if he made this glove with like made in China knives, it would have fucking bent and broke within the first act.
Did you order this shit from Amazon, Freddie? What is this?
Considering that glove lasted for like 6 movies, I mean, pretty good craftsmanship.
That was like Pittsburgh steel.
I thought it was cool during the credit sequence. He was billed as Fred Krueger. That sounds so much scarier than Freddy Krueger.
We then see a young girl named Tina running down a long and wet hallway that leads her to the boiler room. Freddy torments her before she finally wakes up from her nightmare with a cut in her dress. Freddy can hurt you in the real world.
What is it with people when they wake up from their nightmares and the parents are there instantaneously?
Well, she's screaming in her sleep, so it's one of those things of...
She jolted up and the mom's like...
Glad that you grew up in a household where children are screaming and moms are just hanging out in the fucking living room.
Mom's got to like put out the cigarette. She's got to go to the fridge and make sure everything's good.
Well, first of all, we know the mom's already up because she's like a whore or something. And she's banging one of her Johns. Because the John like pops.
Is that what she picked up on?
Are you coming back to bed or what?
I just got the impression it was a shitty relationship.
I paid for 25 minutes. I still got 20 minutes left. That's the impression I got. So she was already up. She heard the screaming. She know it wasn't her screaming. So, gotta be my daughter.
Yeah, dude was fucking gross. Didn't he have a wife beater on?
Do they still call them wife beaters? Is that PG?
Yeah, it's okay. PG. It's good.
I think that's just like some white trash shit.
It hasn't got canceled yet. We're good. Hold on.
It's coming. Don't you worry. So on the way to school the next day, with Nancy and Glenn, a group of young girls are jumping rope and repeating the Freddy Krueger rhyme of 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, grab that trusty crucifix. 7, 8, stay up late. 9, 10, never sleep again.
That was about the most half-ass attempt.
You didn't even fucking sing it.
You didn't even fucking try,
son of a bitch.
Well, I didn't know I was on audition here. I was just reading.
I mean, you're not on audition, but you're reading it like it's a poem.
You.
Here we go. Go.
3, 4, better lock your door.
5, 6, grab your crucifix.
7, 8, better stay up late.
9, 10, never sleep again.
I got a question.
That's pretty good.
I got a question about this song. What the fuck is the deal with the crucifix?
Yeah, it was just so they can have the actual crucifix in the movie.
Because it rhymes with 6? Is that the only reason it's in there? Everything else makes sense. The rest of the advice makes sense, but does the cross ever come into play? Can you use it against him?
He knocks it off the wall.
Yeah.
5,
He's like, fuck that.
5, 6, stab him in the dick.
In the dicks, he's got multiple. Yeah, man, it's fine. I get it. It's a good chant. I can still sing it. Having not watched the movie for 10 years, I could still sing it. So it's good. This was also probably one of my favorite shots in the movie, too. Because it starts like this dreamy sequence. There's like a haze over these girls doing the jump rope. And then we have a pan, and it goes to like a normal, unfiltered shot. And it's all one shot. You get the teenagers pulling up in the car. They get out of the car. We follow them. All one shot still. And we get to the point where those kids would be in the background. And they're gone. It's fucking perfect. It goes from like dream to real life all at one shot.
That was one of Wes Craven's notes, was he never wanted the audience to know when they were in and out of a dream sequence. Our gang of 3 goes to hang out at Tina's parents' house while they are gone, and Nancy tells Tina about her strange dreams that include a man in a dirty Christmas sweater with knives for fingers. I can't be as bad as she is, but I'm fucking trying.
Knives for fingers?
You skipped over our introduction to Rod as well.
Oh,
fucking Rod's a dick.
You do like this Garcia bastard.
They're talking about, I had a scary dream last night. And then Nancy's like, yeah, me too. Rod walks up. He says, I woke up with a hard dick. And he said, it's got your name on it, Tina. And then she fucking ducks his ass. Yeah, you can't fit Tina on that little dick.
How you gonna get 4 letters on that little prick? Yeah, Rod's a fucking dickhead.
Dude, Rod's the
But it fucking
man.
works, man.
It does work. So, to that point, Tina's doofus boyfriend Rod comes over and asks if they are having an orgy. This literally goes, "What, you having an orgy or something?"
Yeah, man.
Hey, yo, are you late for the orgy or what? Has Glenn busted yet or what?
So Rod then takes Tina to her parents' bedroom because that's hot. Nothing like your parents' bedroom.
He even highlighted the fact, he said, "We got a mom's bed. You can have the rest of the
You can
fucking
have the
house."
rest of the house, fucking every room, dude.
God, that gave me the creeps, man. Jesus.
Fucking a pussy on the couch, fucking a butt in the kitchen.
But then you
So-
treat her like a lady in the bathroom.
After some passionate sex,
Shit,
Tina
that
and
what you
Rod.
call that?
Well, I was screaming a lot, and I'm assuming.
Yeah,
it was
what
through
the
some
hell is
passion.
up with all the fucking screaming? Were they squirting lemon juice in each other's eyes and stuff? Jesus Christ, they were screaming.
And you know Johnny or Glenn had an erection downstairs. There's no way he didn't just start
He's
beating
down
that thing
there
on the
dry
couch.
humping that bowl of fucking chips they had downstairs.
Oh, yeah.
So Tina and Rod fall asleep after all that screaming. Tina wakes up to rocks being thrown at her window and hearing someone call her name. Tina. Because, okay, fellas, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you hear somebody outside, saying Joey or Chris, is your first instinct to go outside with no pants on and go find out who is saying your name?
Yeah, maybe. I guess it depends on the tone.
Because that's
Is it
what
like the
Tina does.
seductiveness to it. Like,
But shit, they just
Hey,
broke
Joey.
my fucking window with one of them rocks. I gotta see who done that. I gotta get some cash at this person.
but yeah, her stepping out. She's got my look. She's got the button-up shirt, nothing else. Just the.
Dude, I'm fucking saying. I got a note in here as well. It's like, what is it about the '80s girls wearing only these button-up shirts after they get out of the bed that's so fucking hot?
I cannot tell you, but it's been implanted in my brain since I was like 6.
She is missing those knee-high socks that was in Halloween.
Yeah, that was the only
That's fine.
the only thing
Shit,
I was
long as-
missing there. But
As long as like there ain't anything, up under the shirt, it's good.
we can put those in post-production. But in my mind, I was like, man, she's got the look. There it is.
So, meanwhile, Nancy is also being disturbed in her sleep, and we see the famous shot of Freddy coming through the wall above her.
Yeah, the wall scene, one of the best practical effects in the history of horror. This scene, possibly the history of films in general, or maybe not the best. I'd say one of the most recognizable.
Yeah, if you see
Iconic.
that, you know it's Freddy.
Iconic, yeah, that's a good word for it.
So was it superimposed, or was there like 2 images there, or was there like literally, was she laying in a room
It's
with
like
a dummy
rubber-
wall
a
behind
rubber
her?
Dummy wall, yeah.
So it was all like one set piece.
So, as we have talked about, Tina decides to go outside to see who's calling her name in this extremely dark street with nothing on but a t-shirt.
Oof.
And she sees Freddy Krueger walking down the alley with his arms scraping against the alley walls.
Not just scraping against the alley walls, but really fucking long arms. It's so funny that you have the wall scene, and then the next second you have this stupid ass long arm scene as well in the same movie. We're gonna get to it my actual like review wrap up, but yeah, it's so weird how they go from being, oh man, it's totally awesome, to this looks like a fucking joke.
Yeah, the arms are kind of hard to look at sometimes.
Well, I mean, it is a dream sequence too. So a lot of this you can kind of dismiss as like that uncanny valley, when shit looks like not quite real. But yeah, I thought during this sequence, just the way she reacts to Freddy is, my question became, should Tina have been the protagonist? Because she seemed to be a much better actress.
Oh,
during
she is
all this
much
shit.
better. This
Like
is
incredibly better.
yeah.
Like I
she's
felt like
way
she should have
better.
been the main character.
Oh, she is so much better than Nancy. I don't think Nancy's that bad of an actress in this movie. However, compared to fucking Tina, yeah, she is.
Exactly. By comparison, it's just she should have been in the entire movie, in my opinion. And she had the Marion Crane haircut, the whole Psycho reference going on too.
But I think this is the whole start of Wes Craven's red herrings that he likes to throw in right there at the beginning of the movies.
I can see this being breadcrumbs for the Drew Barrymore.
Pretty much.
Getting axed in the first scene of Scream. I can see it.
Yeah, that's what I would equate it to.
So, Freddy then chases Tina down the alley before showing her his cool trick of cutting off his own fingers with his blades.
It's so fucking
Hey,
funny.
Hootie,
He says, watch
Watch
this shit.
this.
He
Fucking
fucking
love that
chopped him
delivery.
off, and he keeps looking like between her and his fucking finger. He looks like back and forth 3 or 4 times. Can you believe I did this shit?
Is this cool? So Freddy grabs her, and Ron wakes up in the bedroom to see Tina being dragged all over the room, from the floor to the ceiling, as she is being murdered by Freddy.
Yeah, the scene where he rips the sheet off of her and like her shirt busts open. Unfortunately, we don't get any tits. But like the cut down her chest and then the wiggling in the air and then the fucking dragging across the ceiling. That's in my opinion, another iconic scene. I guess you would call it wall writhing. Definitely one of the greatest in the history of horror.
Yeah, this is my favorite scene in the whole movie. Her thrashing in the air when she first gets suspended. It's just fucking amazing stuff.
Joey's now said 2 of these scenes are somewhere up there with the best scenes in horror history. I'm thinking this might be Joey's favorite movie.
Definitely, I 100% stand by that. I mean, those are iconic, to borrow Chris's word.
So after Tina is violently murdered, we then are introduced to Lieutenant Thompson, Nancy's dad, and her mother, Marge. They're at the police station, and the lieutenant wants answers to why a girl was murdered, and we get some horrendous fucking acting by Nancy as she cries.
Yeah, I wrote this line down because it was so fucking awful.
Give it to me, yes.
Ron is not a lunatic, Dad. It was the first time she was actually giving something of substance, and I was like, oh, fuck. This is going to be a long hour and a half.
She tried. She tried her best. The next morning, Nancy is pounding coffee and kisses her mother on the lips before heading off to school. I'm sorry. That just is weird to me. They're 2 grown-ass women.
What's wrong with love, man? All this
At what
hate
point-
and violence and thrashing and anger.
At what
Somebody loves
point
somebody,
do you
you get
stop?
offended.
Okay, go kiss your mom right on the lips, Chris. At 10 minutes normal, right now. Let's
Yeah,
do
but
it.
she's playing like a 16-year-old in this movie.
On her way to school, Rod jumps out of the bushes, and Lieutenant Thompson uses this as an opportunity to use Nancy as bait and bring Rod in for the murder of Tina.
It's just such a weird scene. It feels like something was cut out of this scene. The way it was set up. There's just way too many people in it. You know what I mean? Like, 1 second, she's being drugged into the bushes by Rod. And then her dad pops out of another bush with a fucking gun.
It's a lot of
pointed
bush
right at
popping.
him. It's like,
Yeah.
why is everybody hiding in the bushes in the scene?
It seemed like he was like in a hedge, like he pulled her like straight into like a hedge, but then it cuts and they're like halfway down a hill and there's like no coverage around him. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That was
I
obviously
wish-
2 different locations.
I mean, I guess she was being used, like you said, she was being used as bait or something. But
But like Wes Craven put the breadcrumb in there. Is this a dream or not, man? You can't argue with the rules if you don't know what's really fucking happening. This could be part of the dream.
Isn't that kind of a cop-out, though?
It's a dream. Everything's a cop-out in a dream, isn't it?
I think it's a built-in cop-out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's not a real explanation, but it's something you can't argue against, you know?
So Nancy falls asleep at school and sees Tina in a body bag being dragged by her feet down the hallway. And Nancy goes to check it out and finds herself going into the school's boiler room. She then comes face to face with Freddy himself as he cuts his stomach open to show it is full of maggots.
It's so weird how his like chest isn't burnt to red like his hands and face are. Yeah, but the school scene and subsequently the hall scene are my favorite in the movie. The image of Tina in a body bag being drugged by her feet by some invisible force. That scene scared the shit out of me as a kid.
That's good shit.
And then we got one of the better quotes from Freddy in this movie as he plays a hall monitor. Don't forget your hall pass.
Again, more of Tina's stunt work being just fucking awesome. It's not even about the murder with this guy, which kind of makes him interesting. It's just about just fucking with you.
Look at this shit.
Not even like he's feeding on your fear or it makes him stronger. No, we just fuck with this person.
Nancy wakes up in the classroom screaming and freaking out, so she decides it's best to probably go home for the day. Nancy then takes a bath while, for some reason, singing the Freddy nursery rhyme as she falls asleep.
The crotch shot trademark.
I still don't understand why she was singing that song, but oh well.
I don't understand why she's got a fucking floaty in her fucking bathtub.
A floaty? What, you have like a rubber duck or
She's
something?
got like a floaty, like a fucking a thing you lay on in a goddamn swimming pool.
I did not pick up on that.
How big was
Her
this
head-
fucking tub, man?
Her head is laid up on some floating device. That's some bullshit.
Oh,
It's a common thing.
Yeah, it's like
80s,
a
man.
like a headrest while you take
It's a
your
pool
bath.
noodle.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
in
a
there
pool
to take a
noodle.
bath. I ain't there to fucking marinate like a goddamn piece of steak. Wash your fucking ass and get out of there.
So then, while Nancy falls asleep, Freddy's glove comes up out of the water and pulls her under. Luckily, her drunk mother comes in to help her wake up.
Yes, what the fuck are you doing there?
He pulls a Trump, grabs her by the pussy.
He did.
He did, actually.
Representing the red states. Appreciate that.
Oh, Freddy. Die-hard Trumper. So, I have to say here, this is a very revealing show that we have, fellas, that when I was a kid, you're a kid.
Jacking
you
off to this
do-
fucking scene, dude.
Okay. Y'all went
Yep,
way...
yep.
Well, y'all went way out of the left
Jacking
field.
off to Nancy in the fucking bathtub, bath water drinking fuck.
I used to take baths, and you get the bubble baths in there. It smells like bubble gum and shit. And I used to be terrified that Freddy Krueger was going to pop out of the damn sink, the little drain hole.
Grab you by the pussy and pull you.
Yeah, grab him right by the
man.
pussy.
Oh,
So your little butthole was just clenched up the whole time you were in the bathtub.
Yeah, mom's trying to wash me. I'm in there.
Roll over, Ryan.
please, Mr. Kruger, don't grab my little dick and balls.
I'm not laying on my stomach in here.
Why at that point didn't you switch to showers?
I don't know. I just remember I have a memory of like being
How fucking
terrified.
old were you when you saw this?
Oh God, 5, 6. My brother
Jesus.
showed me like everything possible at a very young
Yeah.
age.
It was probably in the same boat, honestly.
Love him to death.
Yeah,
Love
but I
him
want
to
no
death.
fucking pussy.
Well,
Yeah,
I
that's true.
was. I was afraid of getting mine snatched off.
I need
Anyway.
Mr. Squiggles, otherwise he's gonna tear off my butthole.
So Nancy informs Glenn that he'll be watching her sleep in order to do a little research on her strange dream partner. Because that's normal.
Did you happen to notice what movie was playing on her little television during this
I
scene?
did.
Hootie didn't. It's the
If
that's
Hootie
funny.
does it, then I'm
That's
gonna be
funny
pretty
because Hootie
disappointed.
should know.
I actually skipped over my note because it says to stay awake, Nancy decides to watch Evil Dead.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. I thought, I'm going back to her right before she get ready for bed or whatever. Her mom offers her warm milk.
That shit'll push you to sleep faster than anything.
And then she says she has to go put on her pajamas. This girl's like a fucking high schooler, right?
Yeah, she's
Kissing her
16.
mother on the lips, Chris.
She has the same bedtime routine as my 3-year-old. What the fuck, man?
In her dream, Nancy makes her way to the town jail to see Freddy messing with Rod in his cell. She then runs home due to Freddy chasing her the entire way and walks up her melting steps in her parents' house.
This is a pretty cool fucking scene too. I really enjoy this one. What is that? It looks like marshmallow fluff.
So, okay, I watched 2 documentaries before we did this podcast. One, Wes Craven hated this scene. The producer at New Line Cinemas made him put this scene in the movie.
The walking upstairs part.
Yes.
Huh.
And of the people who were on set that day, one person says it was pancake batter, and one person says it was oatmeal.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Both edible. Both edible products.
I don't think that was oatmeal.
So do you know why Wes Craven disliked this scene?
He just didn't like it. He thought that it was stupid. He thought that he thought that the effect didn't work.
He had the
Yeah.
long
Cheesy.
arm scene. He liked that dumb shit, but he doesn't like this.
The only
liked
thing I'll
pancakes.
say about this scene is the way the staircases appear before she
Oh.
steps on them.
Oh
you
yeah,
can see,
yeah, you can see it. Yeah,
It kind of telegraphs the stunt. That kind of takes me out of that one.
yeah.
That's why I prefer the earlier stuff with Tina, I think.
See? Thank you, Wes Craven.
I think me and Wes had the same eye for these things.
Glenn falls asleep. Shocker. This allows Freddy to tussle with Nancy in the bed before waking up to her own alarm clock. Nancy and then Glenn run to the jail in order to see Rod, who has fallen victim to Freddy by way of being hanged in his sleep.
So this is like, obviously he's staging a suicide, right? That was Freddy's intention.
Yeah, Freddy's a crafty dude.
It's like I guess my question here is, how aware is he of real world events?
Oh, I don't think he gives a shit about that.
Yeah, but he knew to stage this kid's death to appear like a suicide. Because he knew he was in the room with the girl at the time when she died.
Now we're falling down the rabbit hole of Freddy Krueger, because as we learned in the sequels, Freddy gets his power from fear. So if you hang this guy, nobody knows what's going on, people get anxious, people get scared, and that just fuels the fire that is Freddy Krueger.
Which is one of those things I don't think he really gives a shit. But at the same time, the parents and all the adults, they don't believe it's Freddy or any sort of outside force causing all these deaths. And if he's locked in a jail cell, there's only one way he can go.
But Freddy could slash him, I guess is my point. He didn't go like straight gruesome where the cops would be like, obviously someone did this to him.
Yeah.
He made it ambiguous for a reason, in my opinion. And like Hootie was saying, if it's true that's what they were building with the cannon, then he's just trying to cause hysteria amongst everybody in town to make it easier to prey on these kids.
So, it turns out this Ron fella was loved by everyone because they all go to his funeral. And
Peace and peace.
There are palm trees in the background in Ohio. Lieutenant Thompson asks his daughter Nancy who killed Tina, and she explains that it was a man who was badly burned, wearing a funny hat, with a dirty Christmas sweater and knives for fingers. Marge takes Nancy to a psychiatric institute, as you would if you were the mother, in order to do some testing. The doctor puts her to sleep in order to study her while she dreams. Nancy freaks out during this in her dream and wakes up to a deep cut on her arm while holding the hat of Freddy Krueger.
The doctor guy in this scene actually has like some pretty cool dialogue about about dreams, and how we don't really know how they manifest and
that was cool.
What's going on with them.
I wish I could get like a TED talk by that doctor, just about dreams. So back at home, Marge is trying to hide her bottle of that sweet, sweet vodka from Nancy as she explains to her mother who exactly is after her in her dreams. She tells her mother that maybe she would be able to forget everything if she just did what her mother does and get all good and loaded.
To that, she gets a fucking smack. And Marge's drink of choice is actually gin.
Is that what it is? I couldn't figure it out.
One of the bottles said it on there, and I made a note of it because you see about 9 of the same bottle because she has them like hid in like the hamper, trash can, got one in the microwave. She got them hid all over the fucking house.
The mailbox.
Nancy's mother, Marge, then begins to tell her the story of Fred Krueger. That he was a filthy child murderer who killed at least 20 kids in the neighborhood. Krueger got off on all the charges due to a faulty search warrant. Then the townspeople took it upon themselves to burn Fred Krueger alive. And, because you do, as a normal adult who kisses your child on the lips, Marge keeps Krueger's knives in the family's furnace.
Just in fucking case. In case what? I don't know.
Just saying. A lot of strange things about Marge.
So here's another. This is probably my last logic question here. So he killed 20 kids in this neighborhood. So it's like, what constitutes a neighborhood? Like a couple of streets? Like, how the fuck did this happen recently and these kids are completely unaware of it? Well, she even specifically says us parents. So she was a parent already at the time. So Nancy was already alive when this happened.
Yeah.
So let's say it's been maybe 16 years since this happened. These fucking kids, especially high school kids, would have then turned this to an urban legend that they would all be aware of by now.
I don't know. I think if you think about it from a world without cell phones and no internet and a small town, there's a possibility there, I think.
I mean, she was drunk out of her fucking
I'm
mind.
about to say,
Yeah.
first
She
of
was
all,
about to say
this is
loaded.
from the perspective of an alcoholic.
True. Okay. Well, that's like the only other logic question I have.
This Freddy Krueger guy
she
killed
reaches
20
into-
kids in the fucking basement last week.
So he reaches into the furnace and pulls out a bottle of gin and takes a fucking swig, puts it back in there, and gets the fucking glove out.
Nice and warm.
Oh, there's another bottle down here. Oh, I forgot where I put that. Nancy and Glenn make a plan to pull Freddy out of the dream world. Nancy pulls a coffee maker out from under her bed that is on and has a fresh pot of coffee brewed in it.
Marge is up there checking on her. She takes like 5 coffee cups and a coffee pot out of the room. Nancy pops up and fucking grabs her backup coffee maker as well as her mug she kept under her pillow. Man, this girl fucking loves coffee.
It's a hell of a Starbucks commercial.
I feel like New Line really missed the advertisement spot for Maxwell House or Folgers. Whoever wanted it right here.
Kruger's. The best part of never waking up is Freddy in your cup.
In your butt.
I would have bought coffee.
In your butt.
The phone rings in Nancy's room, and she hears Freddy say that he is her boyfriend now before sticking his tongue into her mouth.
Me boyfriend now, bitch.
Nancy realizes that Glenn is in trouble and tries to leave the house. However, her mother has locked everything up and is completely fucking wasted on the couch.
It's locked, bitch, and I swallowed the key. Good luck getting out.
Meanwhile, Glenn is being sucked into his own bed and with his TV and comforter before a river of blood floods the room just as his mother walks in the door.
Shit, his TV, his comforter, his pillows, his body, his fucking record player, all that shit got sucked in there.
Yeah, the bed sucking scene's good.
Fucking blood geyser, man. Where does Johnny Depp keep all that blood? His big ass dick?
Pretty much, yeah. You can get all 5 letters on. I was with Nancy. All 5 letters on his dick.
Get her last name on there too.
Got her social security number, all kinds of shit. I thought it was cool. He was listening, whatever he was listening to when he's dozing off. It's station KRGR. Just, you know, they say like you put a laptop on your lap, you're gonna like destroy your balls, right? This motherfucker had a fucking TV on his dick.
He had a fucking tube television.
I was like, how could you even beat off watching something on that? I think it had to weigh 50 pounds.
So the paramedics arrive, and the cop on the scene tells them that they don't need a stretcher, they need a mop.
You gonna need a mop. That's a great line.
Don't you love playful cops at a scene of a child murder? Nancy realizes that it is on her to bring Freddy out of her dreams because she is the only one still alive. So she sets several Home Alone traps around the house.
Did you know she dressed like Tina as well at this point?
Oh, yeah.
Put on the button-up shirt.
Trust me. I talked about it earlier. I definitely pay attention to this scene.
Like she's getting dressed because you're a fucking
She
pervert.
had them fucking side boobs, bro. She was stacked.
I like a good side boob.
Sideboobs.com.
She was stacked, but
That's probably
where the
what.
fuck does Nancy get all this Scooby-Doo Home Alone booby trap shit? She has like a sledgehammer, some fucking shotgun shells, a tripwire. I think she forgot the micro machines.
All the micro machines. That's got the classic pull. Her boozed up mom, you know, loved QVC and all those channels.
Yeah, but where do they
Order all
sell
that shit.
shotgun shells?
I don't know. There's probably Bassmaster QVC versions.
Yeah. Well, all these middle class fucking kids have like portable TVs, fucking portable coffee makers and shit. So there's just never ending electronics in these fucking houses.
Well, she didn't have a fucking portable coffee maker. That motherfucker's plugged into an outlet.
Plugged in and
That
working.
shit had a fucking plug and everything. It was burned a hole in a damn dresser.
Nancy falls asleep, then begins to make her way into the boiler room, yelling out to tell Kruger that she's ready for him.
What are you waiting for, Freddy, huh? What are you waiting for?
Nancy then finds the bloody headphones that Glenn had on before he died, just as Freddy shows up to terrorize her. Her alarm goes off and she wakes up. Freddy is in the room with her in the real world. Nancy's Home Alone traps actually work, as Freddy begins to fall for each one of them as he chases Nancy all over the house.
Straight up fucking Daniel Stern.
Fucking sledgehammer falls down, hits him in the balls. My balls!
Oh, goddamn.
Nancy finishes Freddy off by lighting him on fire in the basement and leaving him to burn.
Oh my god, how bad did that shit look?
That dude was a lot heftier than Robert Englund.
Oh, he was a fat
You
dude,
say
wasn't
that.
he?
So apparently this guy was like the pyromaniac in Hollywood at the time and like loved getting set on fire, was like the guy you called for those kind of scenes. That scene only required him to walk across the basement and like stop at the stairs. But it was the actor's decision to keep walking up the steps and then fall back down the steps while on fire.
I have a piece of dialogue here from upstairs before we make it downstairs.
Oh.
At one point, when she turns to face Freddy, and they're like a few feet away from each other, they're like dancing around a coffee table with some shit. She says, "Can you catch me, Freddy?" And it's some of the worst fucking delivery I've heard in anything we've seen.
Lieutenant Thompson runs over to check on his daughter, and she leads him upstairs to find Freddy killing her mother Marge by sitting on her while he is on fire.
Yeah, I had a question. What the fuck happened to Mom exactly here?
She's a fucking roasted ass skeleton, bro.
She's a marshmallow.
But she like melts. This is in
Yeah.
the real world, right?
She melts and she throws up deuces on the way down, bro.
Again, Wes doesn't want you to really know what the real and what isn't, so
Oh,
we're
that's
still
true.
unsure.
As we'll see with the ending.
I feel like at this point it was one of those things of, all right, we're not sure if this is going to sprout into a franchise or not. We need to leave it. Kind of anything could happen, so let's just say it could be a dream, or it could not be a dream.
The lieutenant is too late, however, because Marge is burnt to a crisp. He leaves the room in order to let Nancy have some alone time with Freddy. We learn that this whole thing has been a dream, and Freddy is defeated, supposedly. Nancy walks outside to see the bright day with her mother beside her.
You kind of glazed over on how she defeated Freddy once and for all. How did she
do it?
defeat him, Chris?
You're nothing.
She ignored him.
Yep. She just turned around and walked the other way.
She ignored him. He turned into fucking space dust.
Nancy then climbs into Glenn's convertible with Linda and Rod, just as the cover comes over to show Kruger's sweater pattern.
Fucking
fucking-
dude.
That car is awesome.
And then Marge is pulled through the front door window. The end.
Yeah.
Another practical effect that looks like fucking dog shit.
Marge, the window looked awful.
She
Yeah.
turned into like a fucking blow up doll and was pulled
Right.
through the window. I hated the end. I thought the end was dog shit.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those 80s horror movie just in case sequences.
Well, here's the crazy part. I don't know if you guys know or not, but apparently there was 3 alternate endings
Yes, there were.
that were shot, and Wes Craven was of the mindset that he wanted to go with what they consider the happy ending, where they just drive off, everybody's alive, and it just cuts to the schoolgirls, doing the 1-2 Freddy song.
Okay, wait. With everybody alive, is that saying none of this ever happened?
Yeah, like the whole thing was like a dream.
Like we've been in her first dream this whole time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I see it, because the way it would have ended is she gets in the car, the top doesn't flip over or anything, the top's down. All 4 of the high schoolers are in the car, and the mom's waving as they drive off, and it cuts to the girls doing their little jump rope sequence. Hootie, do you know the alternate endings? You want to go over them?
I only knew the first one that you went over.
To the one I just talked about?
Yeah.
All right, well, one of the endings, it happened the exact same way, and then right after, this is like considered the bad ending, I guess. Right afterward, it shows Freddy at the wheel of the car, driving off. So I guess that right there, the reason they didn't go with that one is it kind of says that Nancy's dead, and if Nancy's dead, there's no, Nightmare 3.
I'm just picturing like Back to the Future when Doc Brown comes back. Nancy, there's a problem in the future. We have to go now.
Where we're going.
Yo, kids! it's not you, it's your kids. And then one of the endings, the one where the kids drive off, they're totally fine. The top doesn't come down or anything. However, the mom gets it in the end. She's pulled through the window and presumed dead. And then the other alternate one was the happy ending, which the studio overruled. That's the one Wes originally wanted to go with, but couldn't do that. Got to have a little bit of juice left for the sequels.
Got to have a convertible top and a blow-up doll through window.
Got to have that Jason Voorhees popping out of the fucking lake scene.
Exactly. Blame this on Friday the 13th.
And pancake steps. Don't forget the pancake steps. So with that, fellas, as we close up A Nightmare on Elm Street, what piece of memorabilia from this legendary film would you want to own?
I'm going to go with that portable television on Johnny's lap.
I'm going to go ahead and get it out of the way, and I'm going to say the original Freddy glove. I think the gloves and shit go downhill from here. So if you're not picking the glove now, I think you're making a mistake. However, I do feel like I'm blowing my load quite a bit early. Because if I pick the glove now, what the fuck else am I going to have to pick in these next 8 movies?
Since Joey has taken the wind out of my sails, this is in fact the best glove of any of the films. And quite honestly, probably the best makeup, but you can't really take the makeup.
How do you fuck up the glove?
Oh, you wait till the second one.
The glove gets less and less practical looking. It looks more like a prop at a certain point than an actual like real world.
This looks like something somebody would actually put together on fucking
Oh,
exactly.
Like the holes and shit in like the actual fabric and stuff like that.
Yeah, it looks more and more like, okay, this is made as a prop.
If you ain't taking a glove now, you're fucking up.
So in my research for this film, as you two can imagine, the fan reviews were quite fun to comb through. I did find 2, however, that stuck out. The first one is from a man named Art Dunn, and he wrote, "Acting, writing, and directing, and soundtrack all suck. This movie is really bad. Sorry, it sucks a big one. There are more holes in the script than Swiss cheese. 1 star."
Fucking shit.
Brought the hammer down, oh Art. And then to carry ourselves to the other end of the spectrum, this is by Mrs. Graham. Oh, Mrs. Graham. "Freddy is my absolute fave scary movie. I have actually enjoyed watching the Nightmare on Elm Street movies since I was a little girl, which is surprising because I'm a big scaredy cat. But I've always loved the Nightmare on Elm Street films."
She sounds sexy as fuck.
5 stars. Why, thank you, Chris. So we close out the 2021 year and our first Nightmare on Elm Street. What did you two think of this legendary film?
1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street gets a solid B from me. As an introduction to Wes Craven's Nightmare series, it's unique and inventive, cementing itself as a horror staple. And with Nightmare 1, we meet one of the faces of the Mount Rushmore of horror, Freddy Krueger. Robert Englund is great as Freddy. However, this isn't the weapon of prime time bitch Freddy we've come to know and love over the years. This is a much more monstrous, terrifying Freddy. There is some humor to be found, but it's dark in comparison to later Nightmare movies, and only seems to exist for Freddy's own amusement as opposed to the audience's. The young actors are believable as high school students, and Nancy's transformation from tortured schoolgirl to final girl is a pleasure to watch. The score is great, and the lighting makes an already scary and atmospheric movie that much more menacing. The movie isn't perfect by any means. The practical effects are hit and miss, with the hits, the Tina death scene and Freddy coming through the wall, for example, being some of the most memorable in horror history, and the misses being pretty terrible themselves. Stretch Armstrong Freddy and Burnsuit Freddy look like shit, as well as the end scene where Marge is dragged through the window. It just looks bad. I'm surprised it actually made it into the final cut. The second act of the movie is kind of dull as well, feeling pretty repetitive and slow. That aside, Nightmare 1 is a classic. It's not my favorite by far, but that doesn't change the fact that it's what I would consider an essential watch, if only to learn of Freddy's origins and to prepare yourself for Nightmare 3 Dream Warriors. We're the Dream Warriors. Don't wanna dream no more. Dream Warriors.
Damn, let's get it fucking going, boys.
2023.
Maybe tonight you'll be gone.
All right, let me pop in here since I'm sure Hootie's going to come all over his mic.
Oh, boy, you don't have no idea.
So for me, this is one of the definitive franchises of the genre, obviously. Easy to see why. It's a clever idea. Plenty of creepiness and style to spare. I think Wes Craven and myself kind of have similar sensibilities with just the way he shot a lot of the stuff here. A lot of good choices. This is a definitive cut above Friday the 13th. But it's not quite Halloween for me, just on a personal level. Freddy is like super bizarre and disturbing in this one, which is kind of refreshing considering the creepy, clownish figure he would become eventually, the one that I essentially grew up with. So the mysteriousness and the scarcity of the actual monster make this a unique entry. And the rest of the franchise is pretty much like Freddy-centric. I feel like he got less screen time here than almost any other character, which was kind of like the Jaws approach to this, which was nice. There's also some of the best stunt work I've ever seen in any horror movie. Sorry. The revolving room scene, that's an all-timer for me. All that said, Nancy was rough, and I don't have that same fear as I do with some of the other horror icons. So it's a great horror movie, deserves its place as one of the great horror trailblazers that it is. I'm going to give this assignment an A-.
Well, let me hop in after that horrible, horrible grade from your classroom, Mr.
It's a
Chris.
fucking A, man.
So, it's no surprise to anybody, I absolutely love Freddy Krueger. And I am going to start off with my letter grade of an A. And this movie doesn't get an A+ strictly because I just cannot get over Heather Langenkamp. She is just awful. But anyway.
Yeah.
This is up there with Evil Dead 2 for me. Those two are like hand in hand. 1A for my favorite horror movies of all time. Absolutely love this film. It introduced us to, in my opinion, the best villain in the horror world. Better than Michael Myers. Better than Joseph Voorhees. Because he talks. Wes Craven gave a voice to his villain, which is a big deal. And it created the king of horror himself, which is Wes Craven and Freddy Krueger, and I could go on and on and on, but I don't want to talk about it too much because we have to talk about the rest of these movies in this series in the years to come. So I'll save all of my love for the continuation next Christmas. But this Christmas, enjoy yourselves with the first A Nightmare on Elm Street, where it all began.
There it is. That is our Nightmare Before Christmas. All right, let's recap our guesses here. This was a for shits and giggles competition, but we did it anyway. So, guessing the Rotten Tomato audience score, I went with an 88. Hootie a 96, and Joseph a 72. Actual audience score was an 84.
It's Price is Right rules.
There's no fucking Price is Right rules here, man.
It's Drew Carey rules.
And the critics did love it, so they were pretty damn close to 100%.
That they were.
Critics also like Mama.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
Shots fired. Mama.
Mic drop. We can't prop up the critics when they agree with us and shit on them when they don't, Hootie. But if you boys remember correctly, we did fudge up our last guesses. So we are doomed to spin the random wheel today.
Let's spin it.
The wheel has been spun.
Oh,
1977, Suspiria.
I have never heard of this, fellas.
It's like the darkness in the night, Disturbia. Oh, that's the wrong song.
No, that's a Shia LaBeouf movie.
Oh shit.
Suspiria, yeah, this is like an Italian, like one of those OG horror movies.
Yeah, I think it's about like a witch coven or some shit. I've heard about it.
Yeah, it's very vague, but I have not seen it.
It's supposed to be really good.
It's a blind spot for me. So
I think there's like a recent remake or something that came out in the last few years.
yeah, Amazon did one with Dakota Johnson, the 50 Shades of Grey.
Man, that's that girl that shows her titties in 50 Shades of Grey.
How about that?
Yeah. And
You know what else she's in?
Social Network. She sleeps with Justin Timberlake.
Cabin in the Woods.
Get him. Classic
Get his
horror
his
film.
ass.
Classic horror film.
Chris
Man.
Hemsworth. Thor, bitch.
You don't mess
Man.
with Sigourney Weaver, Chris, because
Sigourney
Sigourney
Weaver?
Weaver messes back.
Is she in the
I
movie?
can't wait. I can't wait to do Cabin in the Woods.
Is she in that movie?
Yes,
Yeah.
she is.
Obviously, I have no fucking
For like
memory of
5
it for
minutes.
a reason. So yeah, let's hop on YouTube. Check out this trailer for Suspiria from 1977, foreign language film. So I know Hootie's gonna love it.
Oh, Hootie's gonna fucking hate it.
God.
My
I'm
fucker's
already falling asleep.
he's yawning during the trailer. Okay, let's go ahead and hit play.
Roses are red,
Well, that's in English.
violets are blue.
This is creepy.
The iris is the flower that will mean the end of
Ghostface.
Oh fuck!
Nailed it.
Ooh.
You can run from Suspiria.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
This predates Nightmare on Elm Street, sir.
You can hide from Suspiria.
What
Oh,
the
God.
fuck was that?
What the hell?
Damn, bitch.
I like-
Why
breaking
is she
all the
breaking all the
windows?
glass?
I'm digging the lighting already. I'll tell you that.
You cannot escape.
What the fuck?
Damn!
Got him.
Oh, suck that window, bitch!
Jesus. Jesus.
The only thing more terrifying
What?
than the last 12 minutes of Suspiria are the first 92.
Jesus.
Yeah, that shit
I've never
looks
seen a
fucking
trailer
dope.
reference the runtime in the fucking trailer.
Yeah,
That was actually a really good trailer.
Damn, dude.
I'm excited to see it. The trailer got me pretty hype.
All right, boys, trailer in the books. This shit look like fun. You want to throw a dartboard at these Rotten Tomatoes audience scores for Suspiria, 1977.
I'll pop this cherry. We'll say 75.
Damn. I'm going to say a 90.
For an audience score from 77?
Fuck, you're right. I didn't think about that. I'm
Oh,
going to stand
you
by
already
it.
said it.
I'm standing
You
by
already
it.
said
Fuck
it.
them. Fuck them.
Considering it got a remake, it means it has to be at least good. I'm going 67.
Give us a week longer than usual before you expect us in your usual feeds, but we will return. Thanks for listening. You can find us on damn near any podcast platform. Check out the socials and all that business on the website, horriblefilmschool.com. Subscribe and follow. Spread that love. If you can, leave a review on Apple Podcasts. I'm going to use my sign-off here to offer my support to women spending their nights hiding from men in Christmas sweaters. 'Tis the season for adult men coming down chimneys. So stay safe out there.
As always, if you listen to this show, if you hear our beautiful voices, at least tell one person you know about the Horrible Film School show. In this holiday season, just get out there, enjoy the season. As you're wrapping gifts and you're getting tired, remember to keep a trusty coffee pot under your bed
Yeah.
that is full of coffee for that occasion when you might need a pick-me-up. And with that, I'm out.
Once again, thanks for the listen. We appreciate your time and attention. I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. Whatever you celebrate, may it be full of joy and love. We'll see y'all after the winter break. Class dismissed. Everything, I bet you better agree with me. It's my show, Stooge.